Okay, I've been asked to put together just some really basic music theory videos that are specific to ukulele. So what I really want to focus on here is not learning tab, but learning notation. So how much notation do you need to learn to play the ukulele? If you can count from 1 to 13, and if you know your alphabet from A to G and backwards from G to A, then all the melody and harmony associated with music is taken care of by those letters and those numbers. I want you to think about for a moment what a piano keyboard looks like. If you're sitting in front of the piano keyboard, you've got white, you've got black keys, it goes on for quite a way. And typically we have low notes to one side and high notes to the other side. If for just one moment you imagine that we labelled the bottom white note A, and then the next one B, and then the next one C, and so forth, till we got to G, we would have 7 white notes labelled, moving from low to high. If we then start the alphabet again from A to G, we'd have another 7, and then A to G again and again and again as we move up the keyboard, as we go higher and higher. That continuum of repeated 7-note patterns on the white keys is the same for every instrument. It's just the piano keyboard is quite often an easy way of sort of visualizing what that looks like. For ukulele, we're going to also work from A to G, A to G, A to G. So the first thing I'm going to do, and by the way, these videos are going to be low-tech videos. I'm going to use a whiteboard. We're going to have a continuum, if you like, that looks a bit like this. So you can see we've got A to G, and then it starts again A to G. And it's good to know your alphabet in both directions if you can possibly do that. So that's great. That's the alphabet. How does the alphabet translate then to musical notation? Well, one of the things we have to do is we have to transfer these letters onto a standard model, if you like, called a stave. Now, in music, we have 5 lines. They're called a musical stave. Now, depending on what instrument you're playing, you don't know, which line is which note for your instrument. The point being, though, that all Western instruments can be represented, or rather the music for them can be represented on these 5 lines, or combinations of these 5 lines. If we look at the ukulele is a treble instrument. It's quite a high instrument. And so we use what's known as a treble clef, this squiggly line here, to indicate which line is which on the stave. Now, the treble clef is also known as a G clef, because here we go, it starts on the G. That line there is a G. So straight away, I can label that line as being equivalent to my letter G above. There we go, we'll take it from there, G. Now, if we move up the alphabet and up the lines and spaces, we can literally just fill them in like the alphabet. So the next alphabet is A, letter is A, that becomes a space here. The B is a line, C is a space, D is a line, E is a space, I'll just continue them out a bit further, F is a line, and G is the top space there. Similarly, going backwards, we go G, then F is going to be a space. I'm just going to do it in this shape here just so it fits in. E is the next, and D is the one underneath here. Look, space underneath. And C, we're going to create a line, an extra line, and call that C. Now, if we translate these lines and spaces into the notes on the ukulele, we have our top string, our first string, is A. That's the position for that A. Our second string is an E string, and it's lower. So look, down here is a lower E. That's the second string. That's our E string. One string lower in terms of pitch is our third string. It's a C, and here is the C. If you have a high G ukulele, your fourth string is actually going to be higher than this C. So if we work back up to find a G, here it is here. There's our high G. And there are the 4 strings of a normal C6 high G ukulele tuning. If you have a low G ukulele, then you might take this bottom line here, add more lines until you get to G. So we'd be going D, C, B, A. Here would be a G. That would be our low G. So 2 lines and the space underneath them, that would be a low G. So this is how the letters, forget sharps and flats for now, just the letter names translate to the musical stave, which is applicable to all the instruments. For ukuleles, you really need to be able to know the notes on a high G ukulele from C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. For a beginner, maybe up to E, maybe up to G. But at the moment, if you can sort of just focus on these ones, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you have a look at that, that's the C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Right? If you can memorize those in the first instance, where they appear on the stave, you'll be a long way ahead of where you need to be, which is great. So stay tuned for the next video, and I'll start to talk about durations and rhythms and how all that works.